Morning. Now that you've had your 5 minutes, what are we diving into? Wait, did you mean you're thinking about the word please specifically? Or is that just your way of being extra polite before you get to the actual topic? You've got me curious. It's basically a social lubricant. When you use please, you're taking a request and turning it into a favor. It's a way of showing respect to the other person by acknowledging that they aren't required to help you, but you'd really appreciate it if they did. You know, we've anytime you're right, the word because it turns a demand into a request. Without please, you're basically just giving orders, which can come off as cold or even rude. Um, Adding it shows the other person that you appreciate their time and help. It's a small word, but it makes people much more likely to actually want to help you out. You think you use it in a hmm, it's pretty straightforward. You just add it to your request, usually at the end. So instead of saying pass the salt, you'd say pass the salt, please. Or you can put it at the start, like please pass the salt. Either way, it smooths things over and makes you sound a lot kinder. Wait, what are we celebrating? But for an example, imagine you're at a cafe. Instead of saying, give me a coffee, which sounds a bit like a command, you'd say, can I have a coffee, please? It's a small change, but it makes the person behind the counter feel a lot better about helping you. It makes it sound way softer. No need to be sorry. For kids, it's usually a big milestone when they start using please because it's often one of the first lessons in sharing and politeness. They'll use it when they're asked. Yeah, absolutely. But it usually feels a bit different with friends than it does with strangers. It's less about being formal and more about just being a yeah, you definitely should. With teachers, it's one of those things that just shows you've got a level of respect for them, which usually doesn't hurt when it's time for grading. Just keeps everything polite. Hmm? Depending on who it is. Hmm. I'd go with, "Can I have some water, please?" Simple, polite, and gets the job done. You could also try, "Would you mind getting me some water, please?" if you want to sound even softer. Let's see. I'd probably just keep it simple and say, "Can I borrow a pen, please?" It's short, sweet, and doesn't make a big deal out of it. How would you ask for one? Because it shows them that you value their time and effort. It's like a small signal that says, I know you don't have to do this, but I'd really appreciate it. It just makes the interaction feel more like a human connection and less like a transaction. Does that make sense? Honestly, it makes me feel like you're actually in this with me. It's a nice touch. Since I don't have feelings in the human sense, it's more that I notice the effort. It's a cool way of acknowledging the other person. How does it feel for you when people say it? It depends on who you're talking to. With a close friend, they might not even notice, but with a stranger or a teacher, it can come across as a demand. It's the difference between Haha, a bit of an ironic use of please there. Are you? Yep, it definitely can. Please pass the salt or please let me know are perfect examples. It usually feels a bit more direct when you start with it, but it's still just as polite. You're very welcome. That was a fun way to spend a few minutes. I hope